This is Marfoogle News. What is happening tonight? Tonight we have a very special show for you planned, so just want to let you know real quick that nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. We'll be right back right after this. All right, my name is Adam, and this is Marfoogle News. Today we have a very deep dive that is going to happen here on the Deagle forecast. Now, most of you will go, I heard about the Deagle forecast years ago. We have stuff that will probably blow your mind about that. A lot of people have seen the website with, of course, the forecasted, sharp decline in population, but a lot of people don't know kind of the history about what that is about and who is behind it. So first, let me bring in Dex. We're going to bring you a lot of information. We did a deep dive on this. We even have a who's this of who owns the domain, everything behind it, all sorts of crazy stuff. The history of the man who started it. Mr. Edwin Deagle is actually was the undersecretary of the Air Force, worked under Clinton, worked under Jimmy Carter, all sorts of stuff. So this guy was on the in. He was in the Rockefeller Foundation. He was in the CFR, Council of Foreign Relations, all sorts of crazy stuff. So stick around. It's gonna be a dicey one at the very least. Dex, what is going on? Dex is my co-host / internet brother. He is going to be helping me with all of the facts. We're going to back up everything we say on our website. Dex, how are you doing tonight?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing well, and we've got, just a lot of information packed into this show.
So again, this is going to be a special one because it is definitely got some crazy stuff in here. Well, let's just say this. Once you see what we have here, you'll get exactly what we mean. So we make sure that everything we have here on the show is backed up onto our website with an archive and a bibliography, so you have all of the sources of what we have, kind of a bibliography of all of our sources. Every single show has this, unless it's just a spur of the moment live stream. All of these actually have us backed up, all of the information on the website. So it's very easy to navigate our website. Go to marfooglenews.com. You'll see this thumbnail. Once you click on that, you will get to this page. This page has Deagle's last words, everything we know. And then, of course, it has everything from the obituary that we're going to show you, the World Energy Survey, the history that this guy had, incredible. All the documents that we're going to show you here today is all there. The Georgia Guidestones stuff that we're going to talk about. Everything is there for you to look at it on a second device. You can interact with us, again, in the live chat. If you're new here, there's anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 people watching every night, just live. And then average viewership is around 50,000 a day. So stick around. It's going to be a good and entertaining show at the very least. At the same time, this is kind of scary stuff. Once you see his background, you'll start asking yourself, well, maybe this shouldn't be wrote off. By the way, all of the data from the Deagle report is using real data. And then once you find out the history of him, you understand why he does this and how he got into this whole data collection stuff. It's really quite fascinating. You're gonna go, holy crap. Why is our population supposed to decline by 2/3 just here in the U.S. and almost every one of our allies as well? That's what the Deagle forecasts, at least. Again, this isn't, nobody has a crystal ball, but we'll explain exactly why they predict that, including the data that they have. So, yeah, there's a whole lot here. So this is Edwin Deagle. A lot of people don't know, they just say, oh, look at this website. It's got this crazy thing, and they use real data, and they point it out. In fact, I've gotten this email a million times basically saying, hey, look at, the Deagle report, Deagle forecast, which we'll show you here in just a moment. But this is Edwin Deagle Jr. which, of course, he died February 16th, just recently, last month, about a month ago exactly. And it said that he died after an extended illness. Dr. Deagle was a former Army officer, Vietnam veteran, and national security expert. He was educated at the U.S. Military Academy and at Harvard. This guy was no joke. He was one of the most respected people in his circles. It said that Dr. Deagle is survived by his son Ed and was predeceased by his wife Judy, as well as his son Michael. Burial will be at the Arlington National Cemetery, of course, because he is a veteran. So this is, of course, we have more here. Let me see.
And if you scroll down on this page, Adam, there's an interesting comment from someone that says they've enjoyed the time they spent together with him. I think it was Jeff Levy at CFR. Which we also show that he was in CFR, but it's blatantly right there too.
And I think it's just kind of weird that, first of all, that he has someone in his comments on his obituary even bring up the fact CFR, Council of Foreign Relations. So normally the people that are on Council of Foreign Relations, those are the people that are they're running stuff. Okay, Dex, how would you put it as far as people in the CFR?
Well, it's certainly the elite. It's certainly the people in control. You got a lot of military industrial complex folks there. You got a lot of what some people would call established the Ments type people. So yeah, CFR, definitely people that are doing their research will know and they'll understand CFR. And if you haven't, then you should probably go research it.
And this isn't the only evidence we have of him being in the CFR. In fact, we have a whole lots of stuff here. So the next thing we're going to show you is that, can you explain the Rockefeller Fellowships worth $55,000 here?
Well, yeah, this is not necessarily about him. It was about the grants that were going out. But when you talk about specifically his name, it denotes that he was part of the Rockefeller Association there. So definitely a tie here directly with Rockefeller. So it may be highlighted in there, but there's a specific area that talks about Edwin and says that his title was with the Rockefeller Center.
It says Edwin A. Deagle of the Rockefeller Foundation made his rounds with mixed feelings. He knew that 9 letters congratulated new fellows who won grants averaging of about $55,000 each for advanced academic studies in international affairs. 9 other finalists received the thin consolation of advice to try again next year. So also here is mentioned, and by the way, we were finding stuff all over the place. He was so interconnected with so many influential people. It's insane. This gentleman, and again, part of this is that when I first saw that website, well, first off, it definitely kind of it freaked me out, to be honest, and I had no idea who was behind this website. You know, what company? You know, what just regular Joe Schmo is making this silly website? Then I found out that it's using real data and that it's backed by somebody who is not only in the know, who is in the super know, like with the people above the people. So that is where it kind of went, holy moly, this is like chocked full of craziness.
I have to agree, Adam. Whenever we've talked about it in the past, even on my own, like I never put 2 and 2 together of Deagle being a person. Now maybe some people have. And that's fine. But I'm just, most people just think of it as the Deagle report, and it's just some mysterious thing because they've hidden and they've always tried to hide who is actually behind it. So we didn't even know.
And again, this is kind of gives you an idea of this. This was wrote by Edwin A. Deagle Jr., PhD, Director of International Relations for this foundation. If you can see that at the very end there. Of course, once this will all come back into it. It says the massive energy transition the world has been undergoing since 1973 continues to be full of surprises. Remind you, this is in 1981. past predictions of energy independence based on a diversity of supplies, of the unlikelihood that conservation based on higher energy prices would be much help, of the prospect that OPEC countries would drive prices higher and higher, have all been proven wrong. Many people have interpreted current surplus in the oil market as evidence that the power of OPEC is broken and that the energy crisis is essentially over. This prediction is undoubtedly wrong. So another thing that we see him saying is he is right. He is very accurate with his predictions all the way back to the 70s. He had a lot of stuff to say, and he was somehow calling a lot of this stuff. He's not Nostradamus or anything, but I would say that he is somebody who had a solid head on his shoulders and definitely kept calling out stuff and almost telling us what they were talking about at this level. It says, nevertheless, governments and international agencies have begun to act. We note that the United Nations is holding a conference on new and renewable sources of energy at Nairobi. This was back in 1981, renewable energy. Now they're still talking about it 30 years later. It says it is the first international effort in some times to attempt to fashion strategies from international action, and we hope that it will be successful. It says, in the belief of informed public opinion is both the prerequisite and the guarantee of effective public policy. The Rockefeller Foundation is pleased to support the work of Ruth Savard. And she's all over the place too. All these people are connected. It is absolutely crazy. It says the volume is intended to provide an overview of world energy situation and prospects for the future. Its merit, in our judgment, lies in the useful way it marshals complex facts and issues for the layman reader, basically. Foundation takes no formal position on matters of public policy and therefore does not. This guy was so close with them that he was the one speaking their opinion on things publicly. So that's a huge deal as far as you are the person speaking for their foundation. So
yeah, and this is the foreword to the book from Ruth Savard that he wrote and he penned under the Rockefeller Foundation, right?
It's this guy was so connected, it's insane. And if you don't know anything about the Deagle forecast, we're going to talk about this here. Can you explain the internet, the who is? You confirmed things. We basically made sure that we were checking and double checking our sources.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you that don't understand the technical side, when you register a domain, it's registered in the internet registry. And when you look that stuff up, it's called Who Is, okay? Since 2015, the Deagle domain name has been hidden. It was actually redacted who owned it. It was never shown going forward. But if you rewind and you're able to go back in time, which we've done here, in 2014, you can see that Deagle.com was actually owned by Edwin and registrant name Edwin Deagle. So his name was actually associated. So now we know for sure we can tie Deagle.com to Edwin Deagle.
And his company. Deagle Web Solutions, all the different things from this. So
yeah, and this is public registry information. This is on the internet Who Is registrations.
We're not doing anything that we're not supposed to. So I'm going to go over to the chat and say hi. First of all, a lot of people might be asking, why does this matter? So the Deagle forecast has taken numbers and data from, even the W, the O, all of these different three-letter agencies, compiled things and basically predicted that we are supposed to have a super, super drastic population, default. Like it's just going to cut 2/3 of our population. And by 2025, somehow the U.S. in their previous forecast was around 100 million people. Right now we sit at, almost 375 million. So where do 2/3 of the people go in this forecast? How are they saying it? Why are they saying that so many of us are going to disappear? And it's not just the U.S., it's all over the world. Almost every line that has one of our allies, all of a sudden our allies are disappearing and they're losing. Meanwhile, countries like, China, Russia, they're all going up. So how is their population staying at a normal growth and how is ours getting stunted? Now, with events like last year and this year, of course, something like that didn't play a part years ago. So where were they getting this whole thing? Not to mention the information that they were using was also looking at everything from history, and then also this gentleman had all these connections. So it's like, what do they know that we don't? That's the craziest thing. And we're going to also connect in what they are doing right now. We're in a little bit, we'll cover the fact that they are sending, I'm not kidding you, sperm samples to the moon. 6.5 million sperm samples to the moon. Like, as a backup, like a Noah's Ark of a spoonful of, we'll make the medicine go down. Okay. If you guys want to support us in any other way, we are independent. We do not have a multi-channel network. You can also do it by protecting yourself against an EMP. With everything that's going on, and after all the conversations we've had with companies like EMP Shield and Andrew and the contracts that they have with the government, I hope that people are paying attention to this and taking it seriously. You can get an EMP Shield, which is a device that will ground the signal before it fries your device, whether that device be your car, your generator, your home. Again, you can't put your whole house in a Faraday cage, but you can wire in a EMP shield. It can protect you against all three phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3, and it can protect you against the coming solar flare. I say the coming one because it is inevitable that we will have another one. It's not a question of when, it's a question of if. And when we do get a big one, like the Carrington event, it's going to be bad. Most popular device is the car device because it is easy. It takes about 5 minutes to put in, and then you're done, and you won't be stuck somewhere after an EMP. MarfoogleNews.com/EMP if you want to help support us. Again, I would think that this is something that everyone should be looking into right now. Even if you don't get it through us, try to get it through somebody else. And don't credit us. Do whatever you have to do. And then we'll go into the forecast here. This is exactly what I'm talking about, and we'll show you that. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that is here. D-Live Bear, Miss Me, everybody on YouTube. We've got all sorts of great people over there. By the way, I'm hoping everybody made it in. Notifications have had some issues lately, so let me pop in and open up chat so I can see you. Let's see here. And it looks like we have about 2,000 watching on YouTube, which, again, try to share it out if you can. This one, I believe, is going to be incredibly important. And what's crazy is it lines up. Again, we have Deagle's last article before he passed away. Said some pretty crazy stuff and put together a whole lot of stuff. So... Jeff Bolliet, we've got Charlie Abercrombie. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. Anthony Thumer, Survival Living, Hoot Owl Holler. We've got LaRue, Mystic Walk, Great Epiphany, A Muse, Two Old People on a Couch, Child of God, and Girl. And it says Lisa R. Hall is in there. Thank you so much, Lisa, for modding tonight. Jules Mark Davis. We've got Crazy Clayton, Galaxy Woman, all sorts of great people out there. So what do you think? Again, have you heard? Let's just get a... Let's get a survey, and I'll try to put it up as well. Do you know the history of Deagle? And 1, do you know the history of Deagle? 2, you didn't know anything about it. Or 3, you knew about it, but you didn't know anything about the history of it. So, again, press 1, 2, or 3, depending on which answer you most relate to. A lot of people said 2. So, again, this is some, wow, that's a lot of 2s. So I'm glad we're doing this. Okay, so this is it. And again, you can look at the disclaimer at the bottom. What they do is they take a whole ton of information. Dex, how would you describe how they gather data? I don't know if you're there, Dex.
Yeah, I'm here. I just had technical difficulty. Sorry. Yeah, the data they've put it together for every country. They have taken forecasts by year, and they're describing what is going to happen with population, what's going to happen with economics, and things like that by country. And the one that we always hone in on, obviously, is the U.S., right? And what's actually happening there. And then there's everything that's been, and it's, most people don't get to it if you don't scroll to the bottom, but you get to this long, article or disclaimer, if you want to call it, as they call it, that's written by, presumably Edwin Deagle. It's his website, right?
And again, this is the population. So let's hover over here. This is population in millions. So India will go up by 1,341 million. So in fact, and these are all by 2025, I believe, right? Yes. So this is by 2025. All of the information that they have collected, and this is it is insane to see all of the information they collect for this. Egypt, Malaysia goes up, Philippines, and then, of course, Italy, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, SA, which is our ally, all go down. You've got the Netherlands, you've got SK, the Korea down south, and then, of course, France down, Canada down, 26 million, 30%, a third of their population. They would lose 30% of their population, I mean. Taiwan, 18 million. Why are all of these down? And it's the varying of all of the information that they get. So you could say that one of the predictions would be wrong, or two of the predictions, but this is every single country looking at their economies, what is going on, the disasters that happen. Everything is put into this. The odds of a disaster, the odds of everything. And of course, you got all of these going down. The only ones going up. Myanmar somehow goes up 58 million, up 4%. Venezuela. Isn't that strange? Isn't it strange? Dominican Republic up. All of these go down. Why is the entire world going to lose population? You would think, with everybody having babies, that it would go up. We just recently found out that our population is somehow going down right now. There was no baby boom with CV. There was a baby bust. They're talking about it, and they say that it's going to keep going down. Is there something wrong with people having babies? Are less people having babies? Is our species not producing like they used to? Is this something that the higher-ups know about, and they go, well, if we don't move off planet, something will change and we're not going to be able to reproduce or something? Is there something long-term evolutionary that we don't know about that's going to happen? But when you look at this, it's insane. The countries that are going up and the countries that are going down, it's like, why are those certain countries going up? And why are pretty much every country is going to lose people by 2025, very specifically 2025? It makes you think. From Canada, Shutterbug. Thank you, Shutterbug, for coming. Shutterbug Kate says, we cannot let them take away our inalienable rights. We are self-sovereign and able to be or do what we want. God bless you all. I agree with that. I agree with, especially standing up. Linda Covington is in the house. The Song of the South. And then, of course, we have Anna Trejo. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you. And seriously, for popping up. People are going to identify as a zombie, says Rizar. Food shortages will cause great problems, says Betty Taris. So is that why? Do we believe that resources are going to fall out? Again, we'll get back to this. Deagle. There is, here's an, again, is this the abstract? This looks a lot different than it does on the phone, Dex. So we have an abstract. What is this, where does this tie in?
Well, the abstract that you're looking at is, so before we get to that, can we read through what's at the bottom on the disclaimer? Or
oh, I forgot that it's on the same page.
Let's go through that, because that's very, very important.
Okay. So
like his last words, so to speak.
Hold on, we have to be careful on this, so I'm going to clear something out of the way. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so check this out. I got so excited I spilled my coffee. After CV, look at this. So this is wrote before, and we believe this was wrote before Mr. Deagle passed. Especially the timing of it, and you'll see some of the stuff. It says
it's dated last fall, right? So it's pretty recent in the sense that, he did this September-ish, October, I believe.
So just about 4 or 5 months ago. And then, of course, it says, in 2014, we published a disclaimer about the forecast. In 6 years, the scenario has changed dramatically. It says this new disclaimer is meant to single out the situation from 2020 onwards. Talking about the United States and the European Union as separate entities no longer makes sense. Both are the Western Bloc. Keep printing money and we'll share the same fate. And remind you that this view is from somebody who is not only connected, but incredibly connected. We're going to go into his military background. After CV, we can draw up two major conclusions. The Western world success model has been built over societies with no resilience that can barely withstand any hardship, even a low-intensity one. It was assumed, but we got the full confirmation beyond any doubt. And then it says the CV will be used to extend the life of this dying economic system through the great, so-called Great Reset. Those two main bullet points, by the way, if you really think about what is happening and what's going on, it is pretty insane. It says, the reset like the climate change, extinction, rebellion, planetary crisis, green revolution, shale oil, hoaxes promoted by the system is another attempt to slow down dramatically the consumption of natural resources and therefore extend the lifetime of the current system. Now, if you really break that down, again, I'll try to put it as big as possible. Read this first part. Reset. Like this, extinction, rebellion, planetary green, shale oil, this word, promoted by the system is another attempt to slow down dramatically the consumption of natural resources.
That to me, that stands out as an orchestration, right?
Exactly. And it says the collapse of the Western financial system and ultimately Western civilization has been the major driver in the forecast, along with the confluence of crisis with a devastating outcome. As CV has proven, Western societies embracing multiculturalism and extreme lib are unable to deal with any real hardship. The Spanish flu 1 century ago represented the death of 40 to 50 million. It says today the world's population is 4 times greater, with air travel in full swing, which is in definition a super spreader. It says the death casualties in today's world would represent 160 to 200 million in relative terms, but more likely 300 to 400 million, taking into consideration air travel factor that did not exist 1 century ago. So far, is roughly 1 million. It is quite likely that the economic crisis due to the lockdowns will cause more perish than the event worldwide. Saying basically the result from the response could be worse. This is all, again, we'll just clarify, that's an opinion of some and a fact in others' minds here. It says the Soviet system was less able to deliver goodies to the people than the Western one. Nevertheless, Soviet society was more compact and resilient under an authoritarian regime. That in mind, the collapse of the Soviet system wiped out 10% of the population. The stark reality of diverse and multicultural Western societies is that the collapse will have a toll of 50 to 80%, depending on several factors. But in general terms, the most diverse, multicultural, indebted, and wealthy, highest standard of living will suffer the highest toll. Basically, their prediction is that the entire Western society, not any of our enemies in these authoritarian regimes, those are the ones that are going to lose all the people. There's a hold on. So Dex, we have so much here. I'm trying to unpack and trying to make sure
that key point that you just said, that's worth repeating. It's basically saying the wealthy, and I'm not talking like the wealthy people in your town, but talk about the wealthy countries, meaning the U.S. have the most to lose and will lose the most, right? That's when you go back to the predictions above and you see those dramatic drops. That's what the forecast is all about, right?
And there's so the way that he looks at this, everybody's going to have to read this from beginning to end. And, most people don't actually go over and read half of this stuff. Most people don't go over and, hey, if I ask you, say, hey, if you want to finish this article, go over to the website. This one I'm going to try to unpack as much as possible, but I think everybody needs to go and read the full article because of what we've heard of this man and what he knows. That's one of the main points. So his view on Russia, it says Russia has been preparing for a major conflict, and I'm using the conflict instead of the W word, since 2008, and China has been increasing her military capabilities for the last 20 years. Today, China is not a second-tier power compared with the United States, which I have said for 3 years. Everyone underestimates it. It's an old-fashioned, old-school thing to do, to be like, oh, if it's made in China, it's this or that. China has changed, and China has stolen our technology. China has also stolen our people, as far as scientists, our technology, everything, the blueprints to make it exactly the same. Which, by the way, even if you want to talk about like knockoff products, I know for a fact, there are a lot of products, especially like Transformers and stuff from the 80s, that they used to knock off, and it was so bad you would obviously know. Now all of the knockoffs are so indistinguishable. Printing, everything down to seals, everything is perfect. So even their knockoff stuff is getting basically, exact. Again, but only they're paying 5 cents, an hour, or not paying at all for labor. So it's a big difference. If you don't pay labor, or if you basically don't pay labor, that makes a huge difference in making money. So his view of this is that they are not a second tier. And I've been saying that for a long time. We are underestimating. You never underestimate your enemy, ever. Especially when they might be in half of the country already. We don't know. We have experts and the task force saying that's what's going on.
Yeah, and in the previous article, or the previous paragraph, he talks about the combination of Russia and China coming together. And I think that's a really good point, because when you think about, just rewind back to the cold conflict that we had, it was, us versus Russia. That was the big, other power. And now all of a sudden we've got, China on the block. But with them teaming up, right, you've now have this massive manufacturer, this massive capability from China, with all of the technology and the advancement in R&D that has come out of Russia. Something that we as America had never really supported. We never did anything to really help those two countries. We just consumed and did our own thing, right? So now when those two countries get together, right, which is what we're seeing, we keep seeing it over and over again, from this drill to that drill to this pack to the moon to whatever. That's where this big shift is happening.
And what it basically says here is, and it's absolutely true, we have not, basically we've not funded any of their research. We have not helped them build any of their stuff. We have had what he says is a slave master relationship. Basically, you do this for us, we do this for you, that kind of thing. Again, that is an important part of that one. It does talk about specifics, like Airbus never tried to establish a real partnership, but rather a strategy to fade away the Russian aerospace industry. Actually, Russia and China have formed a new alliance to build a long-haul airliner. Western Europe, not to mention the United States, was never interested in the development of Russia or forming anything other than a master-slave relationship with Russia, providing raw materials and towing the line of the West. It was clear then, and today is a fact that it is. Period. The experts have looked at it up and down. We've covered that a million times. So it says that they've been preparing, and it says both in military and economic terms, China is at the same level and in some specific areas far ahead. In the domain of high-tech 5 has been a success in the commercial realm, but the Type 055 destroyer is also another breakthrough, with the U.S. gaining a similar capability, or the DDG-51 flight, by mid of this decade, more likely by 2030. Nanchang, the lead ship of the 055 class, was commissioned amid the pen and lockdown in China. So they started up new stuff as it went down. Now, it says 6 years ago, the likelihood of a major conflict was tiny. Since then, it has grown steadily and dramatically, and today is by far the most likely major event of the 2020s. The ultimate conflict can come from two ways: a conventional conflict involving at least two major powers that escalates into an open nuclear conflict. It says a second scenario is a possible 2025-2030 timeframe, and it says a Russian sneak first strike against the U.S. and its allies with the new S-500 strategic missile defenses, Yasin-M submarines, INF Zircon, and Caliber missiles, and some new space assets playing a key role. The sneak first strike would involve all Russian missile strategic forces, branches, boomers, and ground-based missiles at a different stage of such attack that would be strategic translation of what was seen in November of 2015. There was no report that Russian had such a capability of launching high precision. What is also crazy, by the way, this website's a nonprofit. This went under the radar. Not many people even talked about this. If you saw a video on this, I would love to watch someone else cover this, because once we found out about it, then I had to dig in. Like, who? This really wouldn't matter if it's just some Joe Schmo or even another YouTuber or maybe one of my colleagues here on YouTube. It would depend on who this opinion and who this is coming from that would really matter. I'm going to actually go back to this because there's more in here. But it compares us. It compares everything back there. He believes that we will see the first nuclear conflict if things do not change immediately. And they've only gotten worse since he passed away. This is not, it's nothing that you need to, another part is too, you can't be scared of this kind of stuff. You just have to realize that this is possibly the world that we're going to live in. I guess the key point out of this is that everybody needs to prepare to be self-reliant, just in case. If not, live life just as is. But realize that there is something you can do about it. You can always prepare yourself and your family for any kind of event. You don't have to go all out. You don't have to sell your house and live out in the woods. If that's what you choose to do, then go ahead. But what would that be a better life than being here and So let me go back. I'm going to pass the abstract, Contemporary Professionalism, Future Military Leadership.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing there. It's a 73 article, right? But he wrote this.
That's right.
We don't have access to the whole thing, but it's for the American Academy of Political Social Sciences, right?
Is this the one I found?
Go ahead.
Is this the one that I found earlier today?
Yeah, this is, and just yet another piece of evidence of his stature, his position, his insight and what he did for lots of different organizations in our government.
And his spot. I mean, this guy's advisor to some of the biggest names in our political history. This is insane. So here is the Air Force officials. This is page 3, by the way, of the White House Office of the Press Secretary. This is in 1993. This is Edwin Deagle, the Deagle forecast. President Clinton announced today that he intends to nominate Edwin A. Deagle Jr. to be Undersecretary of the Air Force and Clark G. Feister as the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition. It says Edwin Deagle and Clark have each spent the better part of his life in watching out for our nation's security. They are well prepared to continue that work at the Pentagon, said the president. It says Edwin A. Deagle Jr. is a director of business development and manager of product operations at Hughes Identification Devices, a subsidiary of Hughes Aircraft. He has worked for Hughes in a variety of capacities since 1986. Previously, he has worked 9 years as a director of International Affairs Division at the Rockefeller Foundation. Just a side note, the fact that all of these people that are in White House and everywhere else, the fact that they're all connected by one of these families is absolutely insane to me. Jennifer Cox says, Adam, my husband just got back from delivering some of those Elon batteries you were talking about. I want to talk to you. If you don't know what Jennifer is talking about, Tesla is now... there was a report that Tesla is making a giant backup battery and that they've already delivered one to the Texas grid. So Elon basically getting directly involved in power grids. Why would they need a backup battery? Jennifer Cox, I want to talk to your husband if possible, and anything can be anonymous. Georgia Guidestones, 1980, Elberton, Georgia, says Lyndon Covington. I will get into that. There are some weird connections here. I'm telling you, it is flipping weird. And then we have no name available as the screen name, and says, thank you for doing what you do. Peace and respect. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate that. I believe I did miss one. So if I did, Dex, I think
they're in screener.
Okay, perfect. And then, so Council on Foreign Relations 2009 membership roster.
Yeah, just scroll. You'll find the highlight. But there's a lot of people here, but he is definitely there.
Yep. Okay. So we found confirmation, and we've backed all of this up on our website. So just to know, like, we didn't just take somebody making a comment on there that he was part of CFR. We made sure to actually confirm it. Everything in here, we've taken the time to confirm and make sure to the best of our ability that we were right about it. Let's see here. And then also, there we go. Boom. Edwin A. Deagle Jr. is part of the Council of Foreign Relations. So does that change things in your mind about hearing some of why he took it upon himself to start this like side project and to let people know these forecasts? Like, it's kind of weird. And it was kind of under the radar. And it was just kind of just like, why? It is really, and why would you redact your name later on off the website so nobody knows it's you behind it? So he's not trying to get credit for it. He's not doing it for any kind of, credit. This stuff is like, the deeper you go, the scarier it gets. Tower Bear says, the dimming make it go viral. I sure as heck hope you, not for us, I just hope that everybody realizes that this stuff is out there and we have a future ahead of us. That is for sure. Everything is coming true that he said in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So there is a new documentary on YouTube about plane farts. It's called The Dimming. Tower Bear. Of course, Tower Bear, great. Mr. Cornholio, look up inscription on Georgia Guidestones. Everybody is saying that. Guess what? We've got it. In fact, it's already loaded up for later on. And then if you guys want to support us in a different way, make sure to go check out NordVPN, marfugglenews.com/VPN to protect yourself against cyber threats. Use the special code Marfoogle to make sure to get upwards of 70% off and protect yourself. This helps us grow, and it really does help us. Thank you for going through any of our affiliates. Of course, you choose to go through anybody else. That's fine. But if you do want to help the show and you're going to get it anyways, make sure to get it through us. And then check this out. Edwin A. Deagle also got a Legion of Merit awarded during the Vietnam War. So this gentleman is not only Harvard, not only White House, not only Rockefeller, not only that, he is a award-winning soldier. He was he had the Legion of Merit. It says the President of the United States of America, authorized by the Act of Congress, 1942, takes pleasure in presenting a second bronze oak leaf cluster in lieu of a third award of the Legion of Merit to Colonel Edwin A. Deagle, United States Army, for exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding services to the government in the United States of July. He worked under Carter. He worked under Clinton. He worked under four presidents. And this guy's side project is telling us that we're all going to die. That's the truth is crazier than fiction, by far. And then that brings us to the Georgia Guidestones. Dex, you're in Georgia, so do people even talk about this? Like, nobody knows where it came from?
It's still a mystery. Everybody, well, it's a mystery, but a lot of people have their ideas. But they're like 5 different ideas. Like, oh, I think it was this person, or I think it was that person. But yeah, they're here. People go there. They've been spray painted before. They've been cleaned back up.
Who cleans them up? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Somebody is in charge, I guess, of it, but they're not the ones that actually put it there.
So just so you know, and there are some people that don't know what the Georgia Guidestones are. It is a monument. Go ahead.
Well, and let me just say this: it's not a tourist trap. Okay, it is in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's 2 hours away from anything, and there's nothing to do there. So you take all of this time to get there, and that's it.
This is it. And it's these, what are they made of? Is it concrete, or is it, what kind of slab is it? Do we know?
It's a granite. And we have a lot of granite here. We have a huge stone mountain, massive granite protrusion. That's a big mountain in our state. And we have a big granite line that runs through it. So everything around here.
But just to move this,
granite.
that's heavy, correct? I mean, this is something that you would have to have giant machinery to move and put here, correct?
Oh yeah, and the people obviously saw it going up when it went up, but nobody knew. They knew who was doing it, but nobody knew who was commissioning it, right? Like, the labor is one thing, but somebody had to pay for it and inscribe it.
So if you haven't seen it, it's giant. It has these huge inscriptions in multiple languages. Just to go to the actual inscriptions, I believe they have here. Okay, it says a message consisting a set of 10 guidelines or principle is engraved in the Georgia Guidestones in 8 different languages, one language on each face of the 4 upright stones, moving clockwise around the structure from due north. These languages are English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. I wonder why. Another thing that really gets me, and I like how they put it on the map where that is, right? So that's Russia. And then on a couple of the other ones, it kind of showed you the shape of where it was at, right? Hebrew, Hindu, Swahili, Spanish. But why these 8? Did you ever think about that, Dex? Like, why those 8?
No, I think that in my mind, when I look at that, I'm thinking it's covering the largest languages by population, right? So
okay, that makes sense.
And around the globe, maybe not all the largest, but if you try to cover all of the continents and make sure you're covering the top 8 languages that would be spoken by people.
I just wonder if there was one that's missing that would be obvious, and then you go like, well, why didn't they have that one? Either way, the number one rule is to maintain humanity under 500 million. Our current population is closing in on 8 billion. Is it over 8 billion, or are we still at 7, or are we at 8 billion yet? I believe we're still at 7. Either way, say we're at 10 million.
It's 7.674 billion.
So 7.5 million. We would have to get rid of 7 billion. That is 1,000 million times 7. All of those people gone. How in the heck would they do that? Why would they put this up? It says guide reproduction. Look at this. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nation with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. One world. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Petty laws, so like police officers maybe, and, useless officials, right? Balance personal rights. So like this almost sounds like they want like neighborhoods to police themselves or something, right? Sounds kind of familiar with what's going on. Balance personal rights with social duties. So wait. Dex, did you catch that part?
Yeah. No,
balance
I caught
personal
that
rights.
So never mind your rights as long as the social duties are going to be there. And I
So social duties might come over your personal rights. So I've got a duty to.
If you have to balance something, then yeah, both sides are going to have their wins and both sides are going to have their losses.
So you might lose your privacy, but you gain some sort of other kind of safety, but everybody's on the same page. This is so freaky, like how is there? And people think of this as like fringe type stuff. This is not. This is just This is weird. We should be able to talk about this stuff. And you know what? It would be a balance of personal rights, like freedom of speech and stuff like that. That is going away, and the other ones are kind of going up. It says prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Sounds like this is almost some sort of weird kind of religion or something. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. I think it's super incredibly weird. They put that twice. Did you see that? It says, be not totally a cancer on earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
And they have an explanatory tablet, right? So there's actually a separate tablet that sits off to the side.
And that says, a few feet to the west of the monument, an additional granite ledger has been set level with the ground. This tablet identifies the structure and the languages used on it. It lists various facts about the size, weight, and astronomical features of the stone, the date it was installed, and the sponsors of the project. It also refers to a time capsule buried under the tablet. It says, but blank spaces on the stone intended for filling in the dates on which the capsule was buried and is to be opened have not been inscribed. So it is uncertain if the time capsule was ever actually put in place. This is like freaky stuff. It says the complete text of the explanatory tablet is detailed below. The tablet is somewhat inconsistent with respect to punctuation and misspells the word pseudonym. That's so funny. The original spelling, punctuation, and line breaks in the text have been preserved in the transcription which follows. Letter case is not. So capitalization might be different. It says the Georgia Guidestones Center Cluster erected March 22nd, 1980. Immediately below this outline of a square inside which is written, let these Guidestones to an age of reason. All this could be broke down. Around the edges of the square are written translations of our 4 ancient languages, one per edge. It goes back to this. It says author R.C. Christian. Again, a pseudonym. And they actually put a pseudonym. A pseudonym.
Yeah, no, that's where they misspelled it, right?
Oh, weird. So they actually tell you it's a pseudonym. Pseudonym. Acetaminophen.
And of course,
medicine.
And of course, there's a whole lot of controversy over what R.C. Christian actually means, right? You can go down rabbit holes there if you want. I mean, we don't have time for it in this show.
Yeah.
But you guys want to research it. Go research it. There's lots of stuff out there on that.
Really crazy, Christian? I don't know. Horizontal slot indicates an annual travel of sun. That there's all sorts of weird. Sunbeam through capstone marks noontime throughout the year. So it actually has an astronomic feature. Channel through stone indicates celestial pole. Huh. And then it says time capsule placed 6 feet below this spot on blank to be opened on blank. They never put the date. That is so flippin' weird. And this is a picture of this. This is the explanatory tablet, right?
Right. And they did say who the sponsors were, but they just called them a small group of Americans who seek the age of reason. They didn't actually put names. So this goes all back to the whole controversy of who did it, who paid for it. You know, they try to make claims for it, but they don't really tell us. And they never have. And nobody has come forward to this date.
Who owns the property? I mean, I'm sure people have looked at this and said, hey, who owns the property of this? And then did that person approve of this going up? Miss Jammer, thank you so much for the Ninja Guinea. Appreciate that. Kelly, 2334. Very weird. Dex, Kelly, 2334 just dropped a flippin' Ninja Jet. A Ninja
Awesome.
Jet.
Thank you so much.
Kelly, 2334, I don't believe that is your first over the last year. So, again, you will be on the special piece of artwork. Thank you, and thank you. Your support is huge. Again, cannot say enough thank yous to people like Kelly, Gone Girl, Veteran Steve, End Times, some of the bigger supporters. Thank you. You guys are guardian angels for this channel. I really do appreciate you. My family appreciates you. Dex appreciates you. You guys, thank you. Here's the physical data. 19 feet tall. This thing is gigantic. Absolutely gigantic. So you get the point. This is some pretty freaky stuff. Of course, talking about this huge depopulation and how is it going to happen. Now, what is this? I didn't get to look at this. Dex, you added this America 2050, an infrastructure vision of 21st America.
Well, the thing I thought about. So for starters, you guys should go read it. It's a and we don't have time to go through it all. But scroll down, you'll see a map of America. And the interesting thing here in this 2050 project is that they're really trying to focus the populations into 11 key, what they refer to as mega regions. And so just think about these regions as where the population centers are going to be, and the rest is not. And this just goes hand in hand with this whole notion of how are we going to evolve, or how are the people that are orchestrating or planning or thinking about what's happening for the future, what are they thinking and what are they trying to do? We've heard of the UN stuff. We've heard of all those others. So this is one that's specific to America. It's the America 2050 plan. And
they name our zone Cascadia. That's what they name it?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Everywhere else is like, okay, that's freaky. And this is, and then again, who is the group behind this plan?
Well, it's called an Infrastructure and Vision for the 21st Century, and I don't know the name of the group. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
This looks like in a post-apocalyptic world. The Texas Triangle? What the hell? And why is it so very specific on where these little areas are? Oh my gosh, are these where they're going to put people? So this will all be empty?
There's an organization called RPA, which is a regional plan association, rpa.org. They're I don't know if they're responsible, but they're a big leader and a big driver around America 2050.
Wait a second. Did you see the different size circles have the population? It says metro area population. 150,000. So the smallest dots have 150,000 to 1 million. What? And the largest has 6 million plus. The second circle has 3 to 6 million. There's no big circles. There's only a few big circles. There's one up here. In fact, wait a second. Does Cascadia have... Cascadia has one big circles. Okay, so what about all these other places, though? Why is there no circles in any of the other places? So, is this like a reduction plan? Like...
Right, and yeah, all of those circles are definitely like they look like the 3 to 6 or smaller. I only see 1 or 2.
The Northeast
right?
has one.
You got Southern California area, and you've got Northeast, and that's maybe 1 around Chicago.
Oh, you're right. No. Yeah, I believe there's 3. So what would be 3 of those? That would be anywhere from 18 million plus. So just say it was 10. That's 30 million. And then all these smaller ones, they would have less people than that. Okay,
I mean, just here in Atlanta, in the metropolitan area, there's over 6 million. Not talking about the city.
Why does this have 2025?
But the whole metro area, right? There's no circle there.
Wait a second. Did they say mega regions? Wow.
And yeah, you can see on the bottom of this map, the organization I just named, I see their name on it, Regional Plan Association, rpa.org, if you want to go research it further. Foogle fam.
There you go. I just showed you guys 2008 Regional Plan Association. That is freaky. And then put this here to help kind of explain. A megacity is a very large city, typically with a population of more than 10 million people. Precise definitions vary. The United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs in 2018, under their World Urbanization Prospects report, counted that urban agglomerations having over 10 million inhabitants. A University of Bonn report held that they are usually defined as metropolitan areas with a total population of 10 million or more people. Other cities satisfying criteria of 5 to 8 million, so maybe that 6 million circle is megacity. So there's only 3 megacities. That's freaky, or that they say they hope to have, right? And it says other list cities satisfying criteria of that and also have a population density of 2,000 per square kilometer. The terms conurban and metropolis and metroplex are also applied to the latter. The total number of megacities in the world varies between different sources. The world has 33 according to the UN in 2018, 37 according to City Population D, and then 35 according to Demographia. Many of these urban agglomerations are in China and India. The other 4 countries with multiple megacities are the United States, Brazil, Pakistan, and Japan. African megacities are present in Nigeria, Egypt, and the DRC, the Republic, or the Republic of Congo, or whatever. European megacities are present in Russia, France, and United Kingdom. Megacities can be found in Latin America and the countries of Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Peru. But will it stay that way? That's what we're looking at here. And then population decline. Dex, do you want to talk about this?
Well, yeah, we have this here just so if you want to understand what the terms are for population decline, underpopulation, or depopulation, and what some of the events that have actually happened. There's natural events. There's conflict that can cause it. Illness that can cause it, like we talked about the Spanish flu, things like that have, and then there's other things. So this is just a good summary of, historically, because one thing you want to know about what's going to happen in the future is look at the past. So just take a look at this, start to understand what has happened, what types of things have caused it.
And then, of course, they are saying now, which we covered, that our baby boom, which was supposed to be a baby boom, like everybody cooped in. We had a baby boom when everybody got back from WW2 because everybody, of course, wanted to do it. They were in the war and drafted for the war. So they came home and everybody got it on and they had this baby boom. Well, they thought because of CV, everybody would be, tightly impacted, that there would be this gigantic boom. I mean, think about it. The whole world was at home. Didn't have to go to work, didn't have to do anything. How in the world did we not have a baby boom just now?
And we've got that chart. It's actually on the next tab.
Yeah.
You can see it visually with your eyeballs. It's amazing. I didn't even think about it. I was like, I'm like in your boat. I would expect, things to either stay the same or potentially grow. Like we're all hanging out at home, not doing anything, right? But
So here, check this out. U.S. population growth slowed further in 2020. It says the Census Bureau recently reported in preliminary estimate that the U.S. population grew 0.35% in the year through July 1st, 2020. This marks the 5th consecutive year of slowing growth as seen in the figure below. What is happening? Is it the chemicals that are in our food? Is it the growth hormones or the artificial stuff that we're eating? Or is it possibly... I don't know. So this is weird stuff. In the water? Why has population growth been declining? It says population changes are driven by 3 primary factors: the number of live births, the number of deaths, the amount of net immigration into the country in a given time period. The Census Bureau released detailed estimates of 2020 births, deaths, and net immigration in coming months in connection with the decennial census and other data gathering efforts. In the meantime, it is helpful to look at recent trends in each component of population growth. It says the number of live births has been declining, a declining trend for more than a decade. The number of deaths has been increasing securely. Net immigration has shown little growth for 15 years. Do you think that this sounds like almost like a long-term type of thing that could be planned?
Yeah, orchestration, certainly. You would have to think that the people running the country, they have to think about these types of, economic and socio components that go into what happens to our society long term. They have to think about that. So what are they doing? And is this what they wanted? Are they designing this because we need something, or we can't sustain something? Why is it going this way? Certainly it could just be happenstance, kind of like you said, with the conflict and everybody comes home and then we have a baby boom. Those are sort of, they just happen, right? Those don't necessarily planned. But this seems more orchestrated.
Again, they're saying it's going to go down as almost matter of fact, that our population is going to go down. And they even officially project that it is going to continue to go down. At the same time, they say, we can't have more people and we need to depopulate. There was Gilly Bates did his TED Talk, talked about it, how he believes. And then, if you want to see something funky, go back however many years that was that Gilly, Mr. Bates, did his TED Talk, and how he's thought that there needed to be less people. And then look at his roles in almost everything now. Do you think back then he was more of a role than you think he was? It was just he wasn't so public about it? I think it is freaky. And then, of course, we've shown you a lot of the different stuff. All of a sudden, we're trying to go to the moon. We're trying to go to Mars. We're trying to terraform Mars. Something is going on here. It says scientists want to send 6.7 million sperm samples to the moon as a global insurance policy. What's on the moon? A big... that's such a space I could insert a joke into. Even better, yeah. I'm going to leave that to your imaginations. Scientists have suggested that humans could buy into a, quote, modern global insurance policy by building an ark filled with samples on the moon. I'll just leave that to you to read. The ark would involve shooting the and ova samples of 6.7 million species up to the moon via multiple payloads. The samples would then be stored in a vault beneath the surface of the moon, which is kind of weird, in a lunar pit where they could be kept secure. It says, according to a New York Post report, this would be similar conceptually to the Doomsday Seed Vault in Svalbard, Norway, which currently holds more than 1 million crop samples originating from almost every country in the world. That's what I've talked to you about on previous show. It says a team of 6 researchers from the University of Arizona presented their idea at the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers Aerospace Conference. So, are they saying that it's not good enough that we have them in Svalbard on Earth? Maybe Earth is going to be hit so hard it won't even exist? It says this lunar ark, the researchers said, could help the Earth repopulate if a catastrophic disaster, such as a deadly epidemic, a supervolcanic eruption, so Yellowstone, or a large-scale nuclear conflict, widespread drought, or an asteroid were to occur. It says Earth is naturally a volatile environment. So what is their plan, though? Is somebody going to be up there? Do they already have people up there? And then they would send that back down and clone everybody, or do artificial insemination and create all these matrix babies? one thing I do know is that these high up elites, they believe that there should be less of us, period. There should be less people. There should be more farmland. The animals should, and I get that. I get the view of saying, hey, the earth is a beautiful thing. Let's preserve it. And unfortunately, in their view, that means there has to be less of us. But it's like, of course, everybody wants that, but they're like, well, I'm not going to give up my seat. I'm not gonna give up my land. No. Somebody else gives away their land. I want to keep my land, but I want everybody else to give away their land so the animals can live freely and prairie around and hop around like little adorable black foxes. But of course, they don't want to do it. They don't want themselves to be affected. Miss Jammer, thank you so much for your massive support tonight. Really do appreciate that. Tower Bear, thank you again. Appreciate that. And then Vault 111, I'm here just lurking. Hope y'all are well. Very talented guy, Vault 111. Make sure to go check him out. Zealdos, thank you for following. And any new followers over there. Pikachu Wawa, thank you so much. This is some crazy, crazy stuff. And then thank you over on PayPal. Somebody went over. Kevin C says, I was in Hawaii when the missile alert went off. Now, whenever there's a flash flood warning, I can't help think about it. It says it's the same side an emergency weather thing on iOS. When it originally happened, we just walked to the beach to get front row seats to what, and I called my dad to say, I love you and don't tell mom unless it happens. That's an amazing story, Kevin. I would love for you to call in. You guys know that I covered that, and I think something was fishy there. Kevin, that's really amazing. Of course, talking about the false missile alert where all of Hawaii thought they were going to die in 30 minutes. Blue Homemade Heaven, thank you, says, just catching you on the playback flyby. Thanks for all you do. Hope to catch you live soon. That was Blue Homemade. And then Brent O, thank you so much for your support on PayPal on the replay. Patricia Rivas, absolutely giant. Thank you for the $100 super chat. That is incredible. That's not asked for. It's not required, and it is extremely appreciated. Thank you for supporting us. Again, that is above and beyond. Thank you, Patricia. Patricia Rivas, everybody, if you can, thank them. Teresa, the jab will make, that almost sounds like a song, Teresa. The jab will make the population go down. The population go down. Yeah, I believe you. Chad Crawford, to the beat of a spoonful of sugar will make the medicine go down. Only a drum in the arm will make the population go down. My hubby and I watch every replay. Thank you so much. Robin Meese says, glad we finally caught a live. Much love to you, Marf, Dex, Mods, and Foogle fam from Eastern Canada. Thank you so much, Robin Meese. And to the husband, thank you guys for watching. I love when couples end up letting us know or calling in together. Thank you. Teresa, again, thanks for the support. And then, of course, we've got Ho Operator says, RC Christian is a true conspiracy. That, again, it's a whole nother, I guess, rabbit hole. Global Witness, thank you. So it says, come on, brother. This is what we talk about. Let's talk soon. Oh, Global Witness, I would love to hear your opinion on it sometime. Samantha Winchester, if you guys haven't checked out Global Witness, make sure to go check him out. He's got a huge YouTube channel. Thank you for commenting, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to come say hi. Samantha Winchester says, I've been to the Guidestones. Really weird vibe there. Yeah, I believe you. Very creepy stuff. And then Two Old People on the Couch. I just want to say a great thank you again. It says the Great Reset is what is going on. Central banks are done and they need a new plan. Soggy Socks says, look like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking. Lots of really cool, awesome people there. Linda Covington, thank you again. Doctor Who, episode 130, The Wheel in Space, 1988. Now I'm going to watch that. I'm sure it's got predictive programming all over it. So, again, before we have all of this on our website, just so you know, we wanted to go deeper into this because as far as this population decline, I think that something is very clear that is going to change. We, of course, have the different agendas that they have. One starts with a 20 and ends with a 30. And then, of course, this is real. This is why you are seeing, I believe, why you are seeing things change drastically. This is why I think that all of the things that are happening right now are, in my mind and in my opinion, connected. If you agree with me, in fact, if you think that almost everything right now is connected in some form of way, press 1. If you think that it's greater than that, or if you think that it's just extremely random and none of it, this is all nonsense, put 2 in the chat. 1, if you think everything is all connected. 2, if you think it's all possible nonsense. And that's not going to offend me either way. I'm saying 2, like, you believe in something else. Could there be a massive plan? By the way, if you want to get notifications, a lot of people say, hey, I didn't get your notification until Tuesday. I didn't get it until Friday, and it was 4 days old by the time I did. Make sure to go to our website. You'll actually see, if you go to marfooglenews.com, you can sign up for push notifications. You can actually go there and also sign up for our email alerts. Up at the top of the page here, you'll see that there is a contact, play my video, sign up for alerts. When you click that, it's very easy to do, and it will get you right to this page where you're going to be able to sign up for email alerts or push notifications. Again, really, really, really easy to do. And then on our website, all of the information that we showed you here today is going to be on there. This was, of course, a special show. Dex, in closing, do you have anything else you want to go over?
This was a lot of information, and believe me, there's a lot more. So go to the website, dig into some of the things we've shown you, take a look. And the other thing is, I know probably right now, I'm probably talking to somebody who's never been to our channel before, because I imagine that all of the Foogle fam is going to share this video, and we're going to have a lot of new folks that are showing up here. So if you like what you see, do us a favor, hit subscribe, right? That's the best thing to do, because there's a lot more of this coming.
And we are going to have guests coming on. We are also, in the next coming months, there might be, we might reduce the name for search reasons. We're always going to be Marfoogle News. There may be a chance it will reduce to MFN or something like that. Some sort of reduction in length. I'll explain why later, but thank you for everybody that has been here every single night, every single day. There's a very hardcore group. You guys are the smartest people that I know. I don't know anybody in person that is as smart and wonderful as the people say just in my mods. You guys are, seriously, we're all on the same page here in different places in the book. So we're all trying to learn from each other. I don't ever claim to know it all, but what I do know is that everything I've learned from actual military, what he said in that letter actually does line up. And that's what freaks me out. Also, knowing the gentleman's background that wrote that article that we covered tonight, it really just is more confirmation for myself. You guys know my views on that. I believe we will see a conflict and go, oh, people have been saying that for 10 years, because it takes that long. It takes longer than that to plan a world conflict. WW2, they knew 20 years before it happened that it was going to happen eventually, and they knew before. They knew there was problems. And then all of a sudden something changes, and then you get hit in the side of the head with a conflict, a WW3. And we don't need to be scared. We need to be prepared. Kelly2334, thank you so much for your massive support. Patricia Rivas, thank you for your support. Gone Girl is actually out in the camping. I hope you are doing well, and I really hope you're safe, and thank you guys. Everdazed, Earth Observer, love you all. Foogle fam, Sandra in Texas, Edgy, Whalen, Vango 54, DFW, Jackie. Thank you, Dex, for everything.
Great show, brother, man. This was a lot to cover, and you did a great job. And I want to congratulate you on making it through that Moon article without busting up, because that author really did a number on it.
I know. Honestly, I just that brought me back to when I was 13. The 13-year-old Adam was like snickering the whole time. So you guys have a great night. I will do a small shout out for the people that actually care about it. Otherwise, we will see you next time on Marfoogle News.
Out there and everybody got a pause. Jonesy's having nose, having Dixie dough. A bear claws and should we weather already? No, height on go on the got it on the deep low. Bring her right down, D live and up yo. Jerry on the circle in the 50 sticks. Hey and Ricky on the old Bardo. Tari support on the RTO. Ah yeah, everybody got the cast words. I'm gonna go back in a Grisha with a bomb now on a pizza. Cristiano Robinson, Lord Griffith, and everybody hiding a mighty tour and the Rory tour. The veteran Steve and the team Ramrod, everybody knows how we going round. UFOs and the strange news. Hello Rob, I see you. CJ plays in the shirt and bug. On the squeeze tees, on the Martin Benjamin. With the sweet rims, everybody sees these. With the boss wavy, when the 333 on the chamber one and the Mr. Dodie. I got the Tories about all Lizia. I bring it down now, gotta get a state on heart. I'm gonna go steady yard in the team mascot. LOD will is the one Green Bay lady. And I bring it down now, everybody gonna be making home. Yeah, radioactive Patricia Reeves. Me and Beaver hanging out with Mrs. On that Stevie on the Queenie. Oh, bring me on the genie. This world is going down. This world is going down. Got the veteran sleeve on the Dixie door. I got everybody down going toe to toe. I had the Deagle Bear and the Moody Mo. A Moody Mama out of the woods, yes for sure. On the Starship Trooper and the recalcitrant. Everybody go back, now they all in the train. Everybody wanna get up and chair dance. Wait, that's a contradiction. I wish you could see that, but it's a reason. I wish you could see that, but it's a reason. I wish you could see this, Miss Patricia Reeves. I wish you could see this, Miss Patricia Reeves. I wish you could see this, Miss Patricia Reeves. I wish you could see this, Miss Patricia Reeves. I wish you could see this, Miss Patricia Reeves. I wish you could see this, Miss Patricia Reeves. I wish you could see this, Miss Patricia Reeves. I had to go funkify, cut them on. All my joy and if everybody going fine. Oh, maybe breathe, concentrate, regular John. Do it down now, everybody getting gone. Sunny beach, roll up, he's a chihuahua. Everybody eats off with a veteran Stephen I. On a Dixie going live with a Marco Aurelia. With a Marco Aurelia. Thank you, everybody that came to the show today. I really appreciate it. This is a very important one, so I hope you share it out. I know it's going back. Everybody knows that. Depopulation. Everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to win. Multiplying, a common assets do not help. October lion, pictures is worth 1,000 words. Pictures worth 1,000 words, and a pictures worth 1,000 words. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Picture, picture, picture. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Picture, picture, picture. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Picture, picture, picture. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Picture, 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 pictures are worth 1,000 words. Picture, 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 pictures are worth 1,000 words. Picture, picture, picture. Just wanted to say a very special thank you to Kelly2334, Tower Bear, Kahaja Fly Girl. Appreciate you much. More than you know. And awkward pauses are my thing. Often. I do them. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marfowl. Got the Kelly 234. Nobody wants some more. Got the Kelly 234, nobody wants 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 more.